You know, when I was driving here earlier this evening to get here to do these live reports, I noticed a lot of people walking along Thousand Oaks Boulevard, and I was wondering where they were going. It was really cold outside. It was really windy, and I was going, man, this weather isn't stopping these people from going somewhere. And then I noticed what it was. People were going to a vigil outside of City Hall. A massive vigil was held there tonight, and KCAL 9's Rachel Kim is there live with an update from there. Rachel?
Yes, Susie, the sadness here at this vigil tonight was tangible. Everyone has gone home now, but take a look behind me. Look at what some left behind, a circle of candles filled with flowers and an American flag standing, still waving, Thousand Oaks strong. Amazing Grace. As Amazing Grace filled the Kavli Theatre, everyone held up candles to honor those lost in the Thousand Oaks mass shooting. Mayor Rob McCoy led the vigil, Sheriff Jeff Dean got a standing ovation, and various religious leaders came up to speak to comfort those who were inside and outside. We spoke with some of those who attended, including Mariah Piasecki. She said two of her best friends died in this shooting, Blake Dingman and Jake Dunham. Mariah said she was supposed to go out with them last night. She told us a little bit about them.
Jake, always a crazy one. You had a bad idea and everyone wasn't for it. He'd be the one person for it, and he would tell you just to do it. Same with Blake. They were both the crazy ones out of the group. Always go in the desert together, sitting by fires, just talking about everything. Those were honestly the best two people I've ever met.
What did they mean to you, Mariah?
Everything.
We also spoke with Josh Kelly. He's the head DJ at the Borderline Bar and Grill. He wasn't working last night, but he spoke about his friend Justin Meek, who was one of the victims killed. Justin was the head promoter and security guard at the bar. He just graduated CLU.
He was one of the best I've ever met. The kid, he would take a bullet for you. That's who he was. He was only going to be there a couple more months. He had a short gig at Disney, and then he was going off in the Coast Guard. So he had his life ahead of him right around the corner. And he's not with us anymore because he was protecting our brothers and sisters.
The mayor estimates around 2,000 people were here tonight at this vigil. He hopes this is the first step in healing for this community. Susie, back to you.
All right, Rachel, thank you so much. Another victim, Sean Adler, worked as a bouncer at Borderline Bar and Grill. He also recently opened a coffee shop in Simi Valley where he lives. Tonight, KCAL 9's Leslie Marin is live at Adler's store where friends gathered to remember him. Leslie?
And we're talking about hundreds of people. Imagine having that much of an impact on the people you love. Take a look. You can see some of the stuff that they left behind. There are candles, there are plenty of flowers, and then there is a large photo of Sean Adler, who was working as a bouncer last night at the Borderline Bar and Grill when he was killed. But tonight was about remembering him as a father, as a husband, as an all-around dynamic guy.
He was just really passionate about his business, his life, his kids.
Those are just a few ways friends and family will remember Sean Adler. But to get a full picture of who Sean really was, you'll have to look at how many lives he impacted.
And you see all these people out here, these are all the people that he has done good for.
Nearly 200 people gathering around this coffee shop in Simi Valley. Sean opening it up just 3 months ago, specializing in exotic roasts.
He seemed like a dynamic individual.
Sean did do it all. He was a strength conditioning coach at a local high school, loved martial arts, and spent years as a bouncer at Borderline Bar and Grill. But at home, he was a husband and father to 2 boys, just 10 and 16 years old.
I'm numb right now. But we've done so much to help, to do things. And Sean's done so much to help this community.
And last night, he did his final good deed. Stories now coming out about Sean and how he tried to protect the people inside the bar as gunshots were firing off.
From what we hear, he engaged him first. And I know Sean, he tried his best. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. That is him.
That was just the type of person Sean was. Now, there will be another vigil held right here at Rivalry Roasters at 8 p.m. tomorrow at Simi Valley. Sean's mother and sister are expected to attend.